Hi friends, so I've spoken about Gaza Fights for Freedom, which is Avi Martin's film. It's really amazing. I saw it about the day it was released publicly, and you can watch it on Vimeo, and you can see it via GazaFightsForFreedom.com. I would highly recommend you check it out. It's really powerful, and it's hard to watch, but it's really like I thought I'd seen all the programs from the Empire Files, the 7 programs, and I thought that I sort of had a fairly good idea about what was happening for Palestinians, and then I saw Gaza Fights for Freedom, and the cinematography is really amazing. The cinematographers, the people who took that footage, particularly at the fence of the open-air prison that is Gaza, with the Israeli snipers firing at people, incredibly dangerous, and they did that to get that footage for the film because it happens all the time, and it's very important that people see what's actually happening for Palestinians in Gaza when they try to non-violently protest. Sarah Wilkinson, she writes for Days of Palestine, and you can find her on Twitter. She's been following this issue for a long time, and she wrote this piece where it's called Epic, Honest, Damning Gaza Fights for Freedom, a review of Avi Martin's groundbreaking docu-film about Gaza. It's on daysofpalestine.com. And Sarah Wilkinson, she said, I thought I knew Gaza, then I watched Avi Martin's epic 1 year in the making documentary, and I realized I knew nothing. Admitting this doesn't come easy for someone like me. I have dedicated my life to Palestine. In truth, I have been just another foreign bee, too far from the hive to ever save the precious honey. Aside from the grueling accounts and the thunder of truths coming from the warmongered mouths of Israeli generals, Gaza Fights for Freedom is a piece of pure cinematic brilliance, fast-paced, facts-backed, and no unnecessary dwelling on the brutal explicities. Beyond this are gloriously wide-angle shots of crowd-crunching landscapes, dusty greys and smoky blacks, fishless transparent sea vistas, and a panoramic lack of unbombed horizons, 25 miles of candles, crunches, and unyielding courage. No one else could survive this day-on-day carnage. This is the anomaly of being Palestinian. Eloquently compiled and narrated, there are no leaps of questionable gaps. Every slice of life flows with a precision that leaves the viewer shaking. We fly past what child was, when he or she was shot in the head. We see the fall of one journalist after another, the gunning over of the man in the wheelchair, the little boy on his phone, gone, the child with a flag, gone, the 70-year-old grandmother, gone, the 2-year-old toddler, gone, and on to the cold-blooded kill of Razan al-Najir, lest we forget. The crimes that Israel is committing against the Palestinian people of Gaza, the massacres, the murders, the diets, the diseasing, are the most cold, calculated, and despicable acts we will ever witness. Never in my lifetime have an entire people been accused of so much wrongdoing by the wrongdoers painting themselves right. While the film remotivated me and rebuilt new solidarity pledges to be better, more effective, and damned well noisier if it's the last thing I do, it also emptied me. The inhumanity of Israel is excruciating, foreign, valueless, moralless, and it's hard to process. It's butcherism. How did we allow it to continue for so long? What have we done? What have we done? This is a film you cannot ignore. Put simply, it's a must-see, if only to honor our brothers and sisters in Gaza and acknowledge that we truly see them. We, foreign bees who have let the honey spill, owe them this. Gaza Fights for Freedom is their story. The story of Palestine is the story. The story of Palestine sand-jarred into an hour and 24 minutes. And not a second goes by that doesn't render Israel naked. I, for one, am witness, and my children, my grandchildren, and my great-grandchildren will be told. I will tell them everything, everything. Watch Avi Martin's Gaza Fights for Freedom, and she gives a link here. So I'm going to show you, that's by Sarah Wilkinson from Days of Palestine. You can find her on Twitter. And she's always tweeting important facts about what's happening for Palestinians. I'm going to show you a couple of trailers that Michael Preisner put out just recently, which will give you an idea about the film. And truly, it's amazing. Like if black wasn't white and up wasn't down, and this was a fair world where real independent journalists were treasured and held up as important, this film would be winning awards left and right. In fact, it could possibly be nominated for an Oscar. That's the sort of quality it is, and the way it's put together. You can see how much time and how important it is to Abby Martin to portray things as they are, and to also show the incredible injustice. I mean, when I watched it, as I said, I'd seen the 7 programs by the Empire Files, which were really amazing, and I knew it was going to be a great film because the Empire Files, their programs are amazing, and that's why I keep mentioning them all the time. But I sort of but when I saw it, and I see how well it's put together, and the cinematography, I mean, and it costs them a fair bit of money too to do this, and you can help them, because I think it cost them much more because they had to pay the cinematographers and they had to put it all together. They wanted everybody to be paid, and so it cost, I think, they only had half the money for this, and I'm not sure the entire cost of it, but I think they had about $70,000 that they got from GoFundMe, because the Empire Files is viewer funded. It used to be through Telesur, but then through all the sanctions on Venezuela and on Caracas, it was impossible for Telesur to continue funding the Empire Files, so they've had to be viewer funded, and that's why it's vitally important that we support the Empire Files, but also support this film, because this film is vitally important to getting the message out to the wider community of the absolute outrageousness that's happening to Palestinians. So, it's absolutely outrageous what's happening. I mean, when I see it, I can, even though I'm aware of all of this, I can hardly believe the sorts of things that are done to them. It's just unfathomable that this keeps going on and on and on, and it's been going on now for decades, but it just gets worse and worse. And it's a genocide, and it's happening in real time, right now. And they're just treated like they're vermin, literally. I mean, it's Nazi-esque stuff. And it has the complicity of Western governments. And the Israel lobby is very powerful, and it has a lot of influence, and they want to basically to get rid of Palestinians, to get rid of them. And that's the aim, basically. It's very clear. And these people have a right to return. Anyway, you'll see all this in this film. So I urge you can either buy it outright at $29 something, I think. I bought it outright because I wanted to support the cause as much as possible, support the film as much as possible. Or you can watch it for, I don't know, it's like $7 or something like that. It's well worth it. But I would urge you to not only watch it, but also buy it, just because it will help them recoup the money that they've spent, but also the money that they probably, I don't know what other sources they got money from, but it cost them a lot more than what was in the GoFundMe. And if you want to support them on GoFundMe, it's gofundme.com/keep_empire_files_going. That's the URL. So check that out, and please think about making or join them on Patreon and $10 dollars a month, or whatever you can afford, and so to keep the Empire Files going, because truly it's a wonderful, wonderful film. It's really hard to watch, like I often find when I watch anything about Palestine that's actually real and not made up, that it's actually real stuff. I end up, my stomach feels like it's in knots, because it's just really heavy going to think these Palestinians are going through what they're going through, and their courage and resilience to be able to withstand the unwithstandable sort of thing. I don't know how they do it. If ever I sort of think, I'm having a hard time, whatever, I just think, well, just think about the Palestinians. I mean, my anything I'm going through is nothing compared to what they're going through. They're incredibly inspirational and I mean, I had Tamimi, she said just not that long ago, when she was interviewed on Going Underground, she said, you know, and she said this before, she said, I don't want to be seen as a victim, but she said, we're actually suffering, but also the Israelis that have fallen for this indoctrination and this racist indoctrination and propaganda, they're also victims. That's the sort of person Ahed Tamimi is, who's a 17-year-old Palestinian hero. You know, she can see that the Palestinians are going through awful stuff, but those who are brainwashed and indoctrinated to believe that Palestinians are terrorists and snakes, literally, they say, oh, they're snakes and they're vermin. You know, they don't use the word vermin, but that's same sort of thing, and that they're born terrorists and all this sort of thing. You know, she sees that is that they're victims of propaganda and of racist indoctrination. So, you know, that's the sort of open-heartedness Ahed Tamimi has, who lives in Nabi Saleh. That's all I want to say. So I'll show you these about 3 minutes each, as parts of the film that Mike Preisner put out. So please support this film in any way you can, and please congratulate Avi Martin and Mike Preisner and John Preisner, who did the music, and the two cinematographers. I'm sorry I don't have their names in front of me. All the people that helped with this film, please send your love to them. It's a great job, and I'm sure it's going to help bring an end to this dreadful apartheid, much worse than apartheid situation that is happening for people in Gaza and for people in occupied Palestine. So thanks so much for watching. Please stick around for these trailers. My name is Trish Roberts. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Click the notifications bell. Till next time. Bye for now.
Let's just imagine for a moment that armed militants in the Great March were shooting back at Israeli soldiers during the protest, which would actually be protected as legitimate resistance under international law. United Nations General Assembly Resolution of 1978, quote, reaffirms the legitimacy of the struggle of peoples for independence, territorial integrity, national unity and liberation from colonial and foreign domination, and foreign occupation by all available means, particularly armed struggle. Even if there was an armed battle, all the documented actions of the Israeli military against children, disabled, press, and medics would still be considered highly illegal war crimes. But the fact that there were no armed militants, were no use of weapons against soldiers, was no battle, as they say, makes their crimes that much more atrocious and undeniable. In fact, the official IDF Twitter account admitted on record that none of those shot were by accident. According to officials, nothing was carried out uncontrolled. Everything was accurate and measured, and we know where every bullet landed. Even more damning, Israeli General Zvi Fogel described how snipers identify and are given authorization to shoot children.
אני לא אחמד טיבי, אני צביקה פוגל, אני יודע איך ההוראות האלה מתקבלות, אני יודע איך צלף מבצע את הירי, אני יודע כמה אישורים הוא צריך לפני שהוא מקבל אישור לפתוח באש. זה לא גחמה של צלף כזה או אחר שמזהה עכשיו גוף קטן של ילד ומחליט שהוא יורה. מישהו מסמן לו היטב את המטרה ואומר לו בדיוק למה צריך לראות ומה האיום מאותו אחד. ולצערי הרב, לעתים כשיורים בגוף קטן והתכוונת לפגוע לו ביד או בכתף, שטח מדינת ישראל ולהרוג... דינו מוות? דינו מוות. מבחינתי כן, אם אפשר לראות פה רק כדי לעצור אותו ברגל או ביד, נהדר. אבל אם זה יותר מזה, אז כן, אם זה... אתה רוצה לבדוק אותי אדם של מי יותר סמיך? שלנו או שלהם?
كنت حامل أنا علم فلسطين وكلت في راسي. في تاريخ 16/4 أنا اتصابت في الركبة، الرجل اليمين قنبلة غاز، روحت ومن المستشفى روحت على الدار والحمد لله صرت منيح تمام التمام. الجمعة اللي بعدها طلعنا مع الشباب كمان مرة. وصلنا غاد أكلت طلق مدخل ومخرج في رجلي الشمال. 8/5 احنا رحنا على منطقة ملكة مع الشباب. كنت حامل علم فلسطين زي الشباب. كنت يعني بطالب حق العودة مع الشباب زيهم يعني. فأكلت الطلق في راسي. وتم يعني أنا أكلت الطلق في راسي جوا وبرا. هيك. وصبت 55 غرزة في الراس جوا وبرا. يعني وبعديها عملنا عملية لتخريج الشظايا من الراس. بعدها بكم من يوم تخريج الشظايا من الراس. هم هدفهم يعني يشيلوا الشباب من قطاع غزة. يعني خلص يدمروا مستقبل الشباب عشان لا يدافعوا عن الوطن بعد هيك ولا يقربوا على السجل الفاصل. لأنه خلص يعني مدن الشباب وقعت فيش حد بضل يدافع عن فلسطين.
Most commonly, we hear of rockets hitting the border city of Sderot. It is home to the notorious Sderot cinema, where settlers drink beer and eat popcorn watching bombs fall onto Gaza. Sderot was once called Hajj, a village that was 100% Palestinian and Muslim. Israeli historian Benny Morris uncovered that not only did Palestinian residents get along well with Jewish settlers, but they actually hid and protected them from British occupation forces in 1946. When a British Army dragnet was rounding up members of a Jewish paramilitary, the Palestinians of Hajj kept them safe. It came as a shock to them when just about a year later, that same paramilitary violently expelled every single resident of Hajj. All fled to Gaza. Hajj was renamed Sderot, and settlers from all over the world started to move there. This is the family history of almost every current resident of Gaza.